The day was decidedly sinister, but not in a charming Sinister-Winterbottom way. If it was a Sinister-Winterbottom way, it might be a day that puttered around the yard, building battle robots with built-in cookie ovens, like Mr. Sinister-Winterbottom. Or it might be a day that painted wild murals of storm-tossed seas, populated with tentacled friends, while its cookies baked in the battle robot oven, like Ms. Sinister-Winterbottom. Or it might be a day with its nose against a phone screen while a frown creased its impressively expressive black eyebrows, like Wilhelmina Sinister-Winterbottom. Or it might be a day that ran at full speed, the wind whipping its hair, grass lashing its bare shins, screaming joy and delight and something close to anger, like Theodora Sinister-Winterbottom. Or it might be a day that gazed pensively out the car window at the blurring landscape, wondering what it was heading toward and what might possibly go wrong there, because it couldn't imagine that everything would just be fun and pleasant and nothing would go wrong, like Alexander Sinister-Winterbottom. Well, on second thought, this day was rather like Alexander Sinister-Winterbottom. Heavy clouds pressed down on the atmosphere, looming closer than clouds ought to loom, as though they were worried about the day too, and couldn't keep it to themselves. They scooted closer and closer to the earth, peering down at the massive aqua car, drifting at alarming speed down a lonely road. "Pretty dark for noon," Alexander said, unable to swallow the tight lump of worry stuck in his throat. He loved storms, from his own house, curled up on the window seat, with a mug of hot cocoa and a good book, and his mother humming somewhere deep under the house while his father scrambled to get all the battle robots into the garage. But he didn't have his window seat, or hot cocoa, or a good book, or his parents. And he still didn't know why he and his siblings had been banished to spend the summer with their mysterious Aunt Sophronia. Theo repeatedly bonked her head against the cold glass of the car window, like the world's worst drum. She hated long car rides. She couldn't read without getting sick, so she usually listened to an audiobook. But there was no stereo, just a weird old radio you had to adjust by twisting knobs. Aunt Sophronia seemed happy to keep the knobs between stations. The maddening white noise of static filled the car. Every once in a while, Theo could swear she heard voices whispering in the static, just barely too quiet to understand. Which made her mad, because there was already so much she didn't understand right now. Why had their parents woken them in the middle of the night and dumped them on Aunt Sophronia a week ago? Why hadn't their parents at least called since then? Why did she feel both angry and sad at the same time, when she didn't want to feel either? And why did these big feelings make her buzz like she was filled with a hive of angry bees? Holding her head against the window made her skull vibrate and her teeth chatter. It was as close as she could get to moving while stuck in a car, so she pressed her forehead harder against the glass. This drive seemed like it had lasted forever. Had they even gone back to Aunt Sophronia's house after leaving Fathoms of Fun water park? Theo glanced at Alexander. He wasn't in his swimsuit, and they were both totally dry. They must have gone back to their aunt's house, showered and changed. But Theo couldn't remember doing any of that. They had been in the car at Fathoms of Fun, and now they were in the car going somewhere else, and her brain couldn't connect the dots about what had happened between. "Weird," she muttered, bonking her head once more against the window. Alexander didn't need to know what Theo thought was weird. Everything was weird, and he didn't like it. And his stomach hurt with all the not liking he was doing regarding all the weird they were experiencing. In the passenger seat, Will, age 16, and therefore 4 years older than twins Alexander and Theo, and therefore permanently claiming shotgun in the unfair way older siblings always do, as though a few extra years on Earth put them first in line for everything, forever, paused her frantic typing on her phone when a message popped up.